Hello to all the geeks and gamers. Welcome to the Scimquisition Game Awards 2024, the annual tradition. I'm going to go through the awards. I've borrowed the categories from the Game Awards from Jeff Keighley, very good journalist, and these are my opinions, and some of these games weren't released this year, admittedly. But I played them this year, mostly. So let's crack to it. So we're going to start with Best Indie Game. So obviously Balatro is going to win that at the Game Awards, and I would say it's the best indie game. I would say Balatro wins this category for me. But then that is quite an obvious choice, so I'd say maybe Power World's quite good, or V Rising. I've played 2 hours of each. They're fine. Power World could be really good though. It's a good concept. So maybe they're better than Balatro, even though Balatro is higher quality and better made. So yeah, congratulations to V Rising or Power World. Best mobile game, that is Balatro, because that's the only mobile game I've played this. No, I played Blue Archive, I think. That's so fucking shit. Oh man. So yeah, I'm going to say Balatro. I'm confident with that. I'm going to go with the crowd on this one. Balatro, hands down, 100% best mobile game, 2024. Best VR AR. I don't care. I don't do either. I don't buy into gimmicks. I'm a fan of games, proper games with a controller, a mouse and keyboard, a dance mat I can deal with. I'm not cunting about with the fucking goggles on my head like a prick. So yeah, best VR AR, there isn't one. There's no good VR AR, none. Best action, I would say Metaphor ReFantasio Field Combat, because it does what it's meant to do. You can hit and you can dodge, but you can switch to turn-based combat by pressing a button, which is better than action combat. So the action combat is so good it incorporates turn-based combat, which makes it, in that case, the best action combat of the year. What a disappointing game. Best action adventure, that would be... I liked Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow Remastered. I only got an hour into it, but I played it in 2006 or whenever it came out, 2005. So I can say, that is a very good game. I played a bit of Bloodstained. That was quite good, very similar. I know that's the point, but... Best RPG. So Metaphor ReFantasio, I really, really liked. It's probably one of the best games I've ever played, in a way. But Unicorn Overlord was more interesting because it was ogre battle with nicer art and a Fire Emblem storyline, which is a good combo, I would say. So I played the demo, really liked it, and then I bought the full game, and it is what it is. It's a lot of content. I don't have time now. Well, I don't have the wherewithal to play a 60-hour game unless my meds kick in. Best fighting game, Tekken 8, hands down. Can't go wrong with that. It's brutal. It's badass. It's visceral. When you compare it to Tekken 2, this ain't your mama's Tekken. 8. It's got good characters. It's got Lily. It's got Dragunov. It's got Elisa. It's got the Polish one, Lydia, Polish Prime Minister, EU. Thanks. Best sim/strategy. One could argue that all games are sims because they're simulating something. So Pong is simulating table tennis. Space Invaders is simulating being a driver of a space tank shooting space invaders. Metaphor is simulating being magical in a racist land. So using that logic, I would say Astrobot's simulation of being a PlayStation robot and its use of strategy to jump at the right times would make this probably the best game in that category. But you could argue any game fits this category if you use mental gymnastics. Best sport/racing, it's got to be Tekken 8. You've got karate, you've got judo, you've got sambo, the fighting style one. Got capoeira. I don't know if that's a sport. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Let me look it up. No, it is a sport apparently, according to. Huh, really makes you think. No, but capoeira describes it as a game. No, Wikipedia says it's an Afro-Brazilian martial art and game. Like an absolute ludo. So yeah, Tekken 8's best sport racing. Best family game. I played We Love Katamari V-Roll and Royal Reverie. That was cute. And it has the prince has a dad who's a king, the king of the universe, and then there's a queen, and there's lots of cousins. And I can't think of a game that better exemplifies family like that. Best multiplayer. So I don't really play multiplayer games. I would say Tekken 8, but that's kind of, it's just the same online that every fighting game's had for the last 10, 15 years. Where am I on my list? Yeah, so this one is going to come out of left field a bit, but someone I know was talking about Helldivers 2, and they were talking about like Muldoon Creek, I think it's called, which is like a tropical island jungle planet, and there's robots there, and it's really tough, and people die there, and there's this whole thing now that it's like, oh, I survived Muldoon Creek, you weren't there, man. It's, this is our personal Vietnam, like, the console wars for Movie Bob. And I just thought that sounded so fucking lame. It's so fucking embarrassing. This kind of shared autism from people playing a bad game. But to generate that level of shared autism, it must be doing something right. So best multiplayer, Helldivers 2. Best ongoing. I've written Dark Souls 2 because I play that a lot, and I've been playing it on an ongoing basis for 10 years. But I guess Street Fighter 6, you've got Mbice and you've got Terry. What more could you want? You've got the whole gang. So I'm going to change my answer from Dark Souls 2 to Street Fighter 6. Maybe Final Fantasy 14, like I don't give a fuck. So, I didn't. I bought Dawn Trail, but my PC can't handle the upgraded graphics, so I'm just sort of missing out on Wook Lamau. Best game direction, Astrobot, it was just lovely. Just a lovely game. One could describe it as flawless, and it was full of interesting ideas, and it was never boring. Not flawless, the balloon power-up is shit. Best adaptation, so I don't watch TV or film or read books generally. Arcane's meant to be good, but I don't like Arcane, probably. It's about women. I don't like League of Legends, so I can't say that. So I'm going to be quite controversial here and say Astrobot was an adaptation of PlayStation history because it made the PlayStation 5 into a spaceship. So I would say Astrobot is the best adaptation. Best narrative. So for me, it was Metaphor ReFantasia. Fantasy racism was done really well, and the spooky humans and shit, and it was engaging. But then it reached that point with the secret. Spoiler alert. Skip ahead a minute or something if you don't want spoilers. Underneath the temple in the Wales mask land is Shinjuku or Shibuya, I forget which. And it's sort of implied that the races of the world of Metaphor are like descendants of the people of our reality. And so they've done that. They sort of did that with SMT4. They did it with Etrian Odyssey. But what really grinds my gears is that when you defeat the boss of that area, and it's a dragon called Et, and the islands don't have a name because the Welsh people don't believe in names, and you go to them and he says, I'm going to give this place a name now. I'm going to call it, the land of Et, because Et's the dragon, the wonderful dragon, and in our language that's Etria, like Etrian Odyssey. I just thought that was very up its own arse. So Final Fantasy VII was, the writing was really bad, and Rebirth. The writing was quite bad, and found it really boring as a game. But that's one where Subversion went quite well, because the subversive shit, the subversions of the original story and the twists and some of the expansions of the original story into more depth were genuinely interesting. And if the game wasn't so fucking terrible to play, I'm sure I would have had a great time watching that story play out. So what am I going to choose? Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth was, it's a Yakuza. Can't go wrong with the Yakuza. I didn't finish it. I got to the bit just after Dondoko Island. And it was alright. I don't like Hawaii as a setting. I don't like not being in Japan, because it doesn't make sense for people to be speaking Japanese to me when they are like Americans, fat Americans. And then the policeman speaks English sometimes and not English when he's interrogating you. It's just it doesn't really work, does it? And I'm not going to play the dub, because I'm not a fucking buffoon. Best debut indie game, it's got to be Balatro. I can't remember what else is out there. I guess Palworld. No, I'm going to say Balatro for this one. I've already said Palworld's the best indie game, so it can't be the best debut indie game. That must be Balatro, because it can't be the best indie and the best debut. Best debut indie doesn't make sense. They're mutually exclusive, I think. Best art direction, like Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. I like the monsters. There's the lady who's like a half lizard, and she's ripped in half and her guts are spilling out, and one of her upper body's flying and her lower body's legs. And she's mean. I think she's Filipino. Filipino mythology, not nationality. It's got a guy, not Ludo, the lower. Yeah, it's good. Like, if you like folklore and mythology and shit like that, it's some good designs. Best score and music. So Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think, is good, and I don't think there's been a Final Fantasy with bad music. And because they're just iterating on the music of Final Fantasy VII, which is a particularly good soundtrack in the series. Can't go wrong. So in a way, maybe they don't deserve the award because it's just so easy for them. They're just adapting music from like 27 years ago, whatever it is. So I'm not going to give them an award. I'm going to say that the Velvet Room song in Metaphor, the rest of the game was kind of milquetoast, but in terms of music, but the Velvet Room song, when it sort of swells and it's got the like, that's fucking busting. So I'm going to say the Velvet Room song in Metaphor is the best score/music. Best audio design, Astrobot. If you run through dice, your controller makes the noise of dice. If you're walking on a metal floor, it just... I like that. A best performance. This list's looking mighty white so far, so I'm going to say John Eric Bentley as Barrett, because Barrett is a character that would be very easy to portray in a insensitive way, especially how he's written in the original Final Fantasy VII, but he's quite cool in this, but like human and not saying stuff that's questionable. Innovation and accessibility. I played Diablo for Realm of Chaos. Vessel of Hatred. And when you start it for the first time, you've got about 8 pages of accessibility, and it reads the menu options to you in a horrible voice. So that's, I don't know if that's an innovation because other games have done it, but I can't think of any other innovation that, so I'm just going to say, well, this is the first thing that comes to mind this year from accessibility. So go for that. Games for Impact. Genshin is my witty answer because it's called Genshin Impact. It's a game. It's a gacha game. But Games for Impact, let me just have a look at what games came out this year, because I don't, nothing's really impact. Like I need one that's got like real. I could say Metaphor because it's quite impactful that racism is bad. I think we're not told that enough in games. So, and like that, and it had that fucking twist that had an impact on me, an impact of uninstalling it after 40 hours wasted. Best community support, Brighter Shores. He's responding to the bugs and stuff. He's fixing stuff he added so you can click on the map to go to another room instead of clicking on the floor each individually as you progress. So that in itself is probably the best reaction to community issues that has ever been done in any games ever. Most anticipated games, Inazuma 11 Victory Road. I like Inazuma 11. It's very silly, and I like anime football. I think the Gex is coming out, like a Gex remaster or something. I know Croc is. Croc and Gex are quite interchangeable in my head. Maybe throwing Frogger as well. Tonic Trouble, that was good. Well, it wasn't good, but it's nostalgic. Dynasty Warriors Origins, like whatever. Like it looks like it's taking itself far too fucking seriously. So I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but it looks better than 9, which is not an achievement. Content Creator of the Year, so it's got to be Richard Lewis. I like his videos about Brazil and drillers and the other one, Astralis. All the shenanigans they get up to. And I like how he engages with people on Twitter, and he called someone a spastic, which I thought was very a good throwback. Honorable mentions are Mimiya Gaming, good content, small channel but genuinely good content, and I guess Finn Wunster. They seem like spirited people. They've got a spirited person. I've seen the they plural instead of they singular. They've got a weird voice though, not the depth of it, because I know why that is. I know the secret, but it's like they speak in that sort of like transatlantic transatlantic accent of like where it's kind of English, but then it's got a bit of that like took a little hormones. Best esports game CS2. I don't give a fuck about any esports games. I'm not. I like CS2 because it's got the drama. It's got the thrill of the politics of it, and the game itself is interesting to watch. I don't really watch other esports. I'm not watching Valorant. I'm not watching Overwatch either, but no one is. Best esports athlete, it's got to be Magic's. Just a cheeky chappy who performs well. He's got a strong look. He's maybe Donk. Team Spirit's got a lot of good people. I could say Zywood. I mean, he seems nice. Best esports team, it's got to be Team Spirit. It's got Magic's, it's got Donk, it's got Chopper, I think. Oh, it's Russian. What makes you think? Yeah, Chopper, Magic's, Zontix, Donk, Shiro, Halley. Wow, they're all Russian except for Zontix. He's a Ukrainian. That's weird that he's in a Russian team, isn't it? It's cute. Worst of the year. This isn't on the Game Awards, but it's on my awards. Rise of the Ronin is a total disappointment because it's like a really cool era of Japanese history. Bakamatsu, I think. It's open world. It's got Neo style combat. It's made by Team Ninja, I think, or Amiga Force. One or the other, they're both good, equally good. But it was the most soulless, boring shit I've ever played. There was only one good bit, and that was when the first time you meet the Admiral guy, and he's got a big cigar, and he's talking to himself about conquering Japan or some shit, and I liked how dumb that was. Game of the Year, the Jules Sine World Cup Award 2024. So there's three contenders. There's Astrobot, which is more or less a flawless game, but I don't like the balloon power up. So that's quite troublesome. The DLC levels, the speedrun ones, the balloon level is the fourth one. And the fifth and final one's a fucking monkey level. The two worst power ups, it's ridiculous. So Astrobot's really good. It's a solid 10. Metaphor was a solid 11 till the story ruined everything for me by being shit. So that's not a contender anymore, but it was potentially going to be my favorite game of all time in terms of the gameplay and the story up to that point. But I took the twist very in an unhealthy way. And I think it'd be better for me and for Atlas to not interact with each other for a short while. There's Infinite Wealth of Like a Dragon Yakuza, and like I played 7 chapters of it, 6-7 chapters. I played 50 hours of it. As I said, I got just past Dondoku Island. I was doing loads of side stuff. I imagine if I finished it, it'd be really, really good. But I didn't finish it, so that could be game of the year for all I know, but I won't know because I've not finished it, and I don't want to do all the side stuff again if I start again. So I'm gonna say Astrobot's provisionally game of the year. Infinite Wealth is potential game of the year, depending on if I play it again and finish it and form a good judgment. So we've got two. We've got 1.5 winners. We've got Astrobot, which is the winner of the game of the year, and then Infinite Wealth gets half a win because that could be game of the year if I were to finish it and enjoy the rest of it as much as I enjoyed the first half. But obviously, if I didn't finish it, I didn't enjoy it that much, did I? So, but I do like JRPGs, but I do like platform. I'm gonna say I'm gonna be no, I'm not gonna be controversial. I'm gonna follow the crowd and say Astrobot. It's got to be Astrobot. It's got to be the Great White Hope of the Great Hope. Is that a racist term? Has that got a racist origin? Oh, I hope it's not a racist origin. I'm gonna have to re-record the whole thing. I don't know how to edit. I've got learning difficulties. Oh, that is quite racist. Oh man, that is racist. Oh my god, it's unseating a black. Okay. Definition one. Let me see how much longer I've got on recording. Definition 1B. Someone or something on which many hopes are centered, and a lot of people hope Astrobot wins. It does say no. Although this meaning is superficially neutral, it is often considered offensive due to the term's racist origins because there's a black boxer, and every time a white boxer stood a chance of getting in, everyone was like, oh, it's the Great White Hope. So I do apologize for my insensitivity. I won't edit it out because I don't know how to do that. So that's the awards. This is going to be like a yearly thing, maybe, if I'm still alive next year. We'll see. Hope it's been enlightening. Keep playing video games, the greatest medium of all time. I'm going to do some more videos on ludology, maybe. So yeah, thanks, Geeks and Gamers. Peace out. Stay cool.